The story quests in Genshin Impact they are the best of times, they are the worst of times. Genshin Impact is a game with an incredibly hit or miss set of quests. On one hand, you have well-written, fleshed out characters, an engaging main storyline, and some of the most spectacular cutscenes you've ever seen. But on the other hand, you have drainingly long quests filled with boring NPCs that talk too much to a fault. Now, this doesn't seem like such a big deal until you run into some bullshit like mandatory side quests, or worse, run out of content altogether. Suddenly, all of that mild tedium builds up rapidly, and these issues are significantly magnified. First of all, let's talk about the elephant in the room here, boring NPCs. It's just kind of in the nature of NPCs to be boring in basically every way imaginable. They look boring, they sound boring, they act boring. And this would typically be fine because the average interaction I have with NPCs is running past them without another word. But Genshin Impact is a special case here because the NPCs won't shut the fuck up, so now I actually have to deal with this bullshit. Practically every quest in this game has this weird obligatory 3 NPC rule where you have to question strangers that either know absolutely nothing or know way too much about nothing. It is so incredibly exhausting sitting down for conversation after conversation, all on a dice roll whether or not it contributes to the main questline or even has voice acting because I'm illiterate. It's for this reason anytime I see a new quest I'm hesitant to start it. These quests can be such a time sink, and when half of the dialogue is talking to a bunch of lame one-off characters, it can really hinder my motivation to play through it. One minute you're out freely exploring this massive open world, climbing mountains to get a better view of the sunset, solving puzzles in underground ruins, and the next thing you know you're listening to some jackass lecture you about being a bona fide freedom fighter. Now obviously not every NPC is this lifeless or useless.
Are you looking for Her Excellency?
There is nuance. There is a ridiculous amount of NPCs in this game, so there had better be some genuinely cool characters here. And there are. Madam Ping, Rue from Fog Island, Ellen the Wannabe Knight. You just wouldn't know that because it feels more like the same 2 or 3 characters spread throughout Teyvat with mild variation. When I look at them in comparison to any playable character, I immediately lose any and all interest in what these people have to say. That attention to detail you see in other characters is gone, and as a result they're so incredibly limited in expression and animation. It quickly begins to feel repetitive, robotic, and lifeless. And I think it's really a shame when you get characters in quests like Rue from Fog Island, for example. This entire world quest was incredible, but it didn't really feel as noteworthy as it should have. There was no voice acting, no animated cutscene. I've seen all of the characters here in different clothes somewhere else in Inazuma. It really does take away from the significance of this quest in spite of its huge role in Tsurumi Island's exploration. And this isn't something exclusive to world quests either. Teppei looks like this. And yet, Teppei played a huge role in the Archon quest, and I mean absolutely massive. And this is the main questline to the game, so before I move any further, I've got to give a spoiler warning. So if you haven't played through the Chapter 2 Act 3, then you should skip to this time. It'll be fine. Final warning. Everyone good? Okay. Alright, well, okay, anyways, Teppei dies. So why the fuck can I see him standing behind Goro with the fake mustache disguise in the very next quest? Get out of here! The answer is because all of these NPCs look the same. Wow, that almost sounds a little bit racist. I think the majority of my issues with these quests could be solved if we made NPCs more fun to talk to, or better yet, involved a plethora of actually cool and interesting characters this game has in these quests. The latter option sounds a lot easier to do here because they've done it already. Genshin Impact's playable characters are the soul of this game, the backbone, the other synonym for structure. Each individual character is the main protagonist of their own story, and it really helps bring them to life, and on top of this, they look good. Very good. They each have their own aesthetic, their own problems, their own personality. There is something unique about each and every one of them, so no matter who you are, you can probably find a character you resonate with. It's pretty cool. But then they take it a step further. Now everyone has their own fully voiced quest. They have their own cool, extensive lore. And they have their own fully animated cutscenes. These are the truly stellar moments in this game. The friends you made along the way, TM. And we've never gotten a better quest than when Hoyoverse went and stuck 5 of them together and threw them into some underground mines. This is the Perilous Trail event. The Perilous Trail event is one of the greatest questlines I've seen in this game to date. The quest starts out by dropping you and 5 others deeper into the chasm than anyone has ever been, and you have to work together with them to find a way out. There is mystery, there is lore, and there is fun characters with fun dialogue. It's the group dynamic that was really captivating for me. You have Yelan, Yanfei, Ito, Shinobu, Xiao, Paimon gets involved. Hoyoverse is throwing such an entertaining mix of characters at you along with a massive amount of lore and mystery, and yet they were able to tie it all back to the objective of finding a way out. They didn't all immediately get along, but their chemistry was just so, perfect. The lore didn't feel overwhelming or unnecessary, and I was able to follow the mystery of the chasm as the story progressed.
A civil dispute.
Didn't see that coming.
I think this quest really struck that balance of entertainment and exposition in that sense. The dialogue wasn't draining my life force with every word, but instead pulling me in and taking me along for the ride.
Among Us.
It is just such a gripping and exciting quest, and also, there were practically no NPCs. This is by far one of my favorite quest lines in this game, and I hope to see more like this in the future. But with that being said, what exactly is the future of story quests in this game? Genshin Impact's story quests have incredibly high highs, but even lower lows. NPCs have just generally not been fun to talk to, ever. The sheer amount of dialogue you have to sit through is enough to put me through 3 hibernations back to back to back. But then I see my favorite characters and go, ooh, I'm invigorated now. We've known for a long time that the playable characters are the priority here. They play the biggest role in making the world as interesting as it is, but we've seen just what NPCs are capable of with Rue from Fog Island or even Yelan's character quests. Not every world quest has to be some extravagant piece of storytelling, but at the very least I'd appreciate it if the significant world quest that we're forced to play could take that extra step up for its NPCs involved. This game has a long way to go, but given some of its more recent quests, I'm cautiously optimistic about the future Genshin Impact holds for playable and non-playable characters alike.